we are talking about Thor Love and Thunder spoilers. So, roll that intro.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will. So if you are here, I'm guessing that you have watched my non-spoiler review for Thor Love and Thunder that is currently on the channel right now. So if you haven't been warned, this is the spoiler version of that video. I will be talking about spoilers and talking about the things I really couldn't talk about in the non-spoiler version. If you don't want to be spoiled on Thor Love and Thunder, go watch that video first and then maybe go see the movie and then come back and hear my spoiler thoughts. This is your only warning. 3, 2, 1, we are in spoiler territory. But before spoiler territory, just want to say thank you for checking out this video. If you're new, my name is Will. I talk about geeky shit on the internet. I do reviews, reactions, discussion, gaming, drinking, all geeky. So if you're into that sort of thing, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 500. Could use some help. Need your help. Help me get to 500 subscribers. Or just like the video. I mean, like it, watch it for a little bit, you know, maybe share it around with some friends. That's fine too. But we're going to try to make this spoiler review somewhat concise. Try not to take all day with it. So I've got a timer. We're going for 12 minutes on the clock, starting now. I gotta say, I did like what they did with Jane Foster in the movie. I just wish we got a lot more time with her. But again, it's a 2-hour movie. You try to do a lot in 2 hours. But I'm glad they kind of did her storyline from start to finish. Of course, this whole plot point with Jane being the mighty Thor was taken right out of Jason Aaron's run from the comics, where Jane is unfortunately suffering from breast cancer, but by the power of Mjolnir, she is able to wield it because she is worthy and be a hero, just like Thor. And she really is excited to do this because honestly, she doesn't have a tomorrow at this point. And unfortunately, the power of Mjolnir is also reverting a lot of the treatment that her chemotherapy is doing. So of course it's a choice of, do you just keep going with the treatments or do you try to be the hero, especially when they're dealing with Gore the God Butcher in this movie. She makes the ultimate sacrifice to stop Gore and to prevent him from killing Thor, and using the Necrosword she helps destroy it, but it does cost her her life. The good thing is though, she is granted entry into Valhalla, where she's greeted by Heimdall. Idris Elba makes a cameo as one of the two post-credit scenes in the movie, and it's a really nice thing that she's able to get into Valhalla for being such a hero and dying in battle. It's kind of the same way that Thor told Sif that she wouldn't, because she wasn't necessarily killed in battle, but she was wounded. And it's nice to see Jamie Alexander come back into her role as Sif as well. Hopefully she'll be in the next movie if we do get a next movie, but it seems like we are getting another movie. In terms of that post-credit scene, that is kind of important, and I had to do a little bit of research after that, but it picks up after her run in the comics, where she is actually brought back to life and becomes one of the new Valkyries in the Marvel Comics. Not necessarily replacing Valkyrie, but she becomes a new Valkyrie, or one of the few that are left. Another thing about Valkyrie, not the eventual one that Jane will become, but Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie in the movie, that was one of kind of my knocks on the movie, was that we didn't get a lot of time exploring her story. She's basically bored as King of Asgard, and she misses being on the battlefield, which is one of the reasons why when New Asgard is attacked by Gore and he kidnaps all the children of Asgard, she wants to go, of course, rescue the kids, but also to kind of get out of just being king because she's bored. That was the main thing. She was kind of just a ride along for the most part. There was like hints of a friendship between her and Jane in the movie that we really didn't get a chance to explore. And that's another thing that was kind of, I wish we had more scenes of, because she knew about Jane's cancer because she came to Asgard and obviously was probably not looking all that well when she first showed up. And so it's nice that she was able to kind of confide in her a little bit, and we saw like the blossomings of a new friendship between the two. I just wish we got more of that in the movie. But of course, 2-hour runtime, you're going to try to do as much as you can in the movie. That was one thing I was a little disappointed about, that we didn't get enough of Valkyrie in the movie. But for what we did get of her, you know, she's great. She's fantastic. I love Tessa Thompson. I think she's great. Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, I thought he was really well done. Again, he doesn't look like the comic version, which was never a big deal for me. He still gave the same level of presence and menace that I was expecting from the role. It was, of course, not as gruesome as you would have thought. You know, a lot of the killing took place off camera. It's a PG-13 movie. You're not going to go full blood and guts on this on a Thor movie directed by Taika. I mean, I'm not saying Taika couldn't do it, and I'm saying his name like we're best friends. I mean, if you're looking for a friend, I'll be your friend. It was one of those things where it's like, I wish we would have saw a little bit more of the wrath and devastation he brought to some of these gods on camera. But again, 2-hour runtime, what are you going to do about it? I still liked his overall character. It wasn't an ending where he just like beat the bad guy. It was a little bit different, which is something I liked. Very interesting that, you know, because of when they reached the altar of eternity, where Gorr was going to wish for all the gods to basically be non-existent, instead of Thor trying to continue to fight him as Jane was left dying, he chose love and stuck with Jane all the way to the end. And that sort of act of love is what convinced Gorr to not necessarily wish for death, but wish for the resurrection of his daughter, who died at the beginning of the movie, which sent him down this path of destruction in the beginning. And he was also dying too, so he was shuffling off the mortal coil since the Necrosword was destroyed, and that he was tied to it. So basically, his fate was sealed anyway. But Jane wanted to assure him that his daughter was going to be taken care of. You know, as a dying wish to Thor, asked to look after her, which is actually kind of a smart play. It's nice to see Thor have a kind of a new mission, because for the whole movie he was looking for purpose anyway, especially after giving up the hero lifestyle to a certain degree, because he was still doing the hero thing. He wasn't doing it as much until the beginning of the movie. So, and the movie sets up a lot of these potential plot points that are subverted as you watch the movie. Like when, you know, Thor's looking for himself, but then immediately jumps back into battle once he sees that Gorr's doing Gorr stuff. And that, I mean, it's the call to action, which works out. I was expecting a little bit more of a time with him just kind of being a wanderer and stuff like that. But again, 2-hour runtime, what are you going to do? For what we got, I really did enjoy a lot of that. I really did enjoy the movie overall. I think I made that apparently clear during my review. Another thing, too, that I thought was a nice little sort of nod was that all of Chris Hemsworth's immediate family were in the movie. His wife was the pirate lady that he was seeing in the montage making out with. His son was one of the younger versions of Thor as he was running at the beginning of the movie. His daughter played Gorr's daughter, so that was a really nice treat. And of course his brother returned as the actor Thor for the play that they decided to, just like in Thor Ragnarok, showed off a scene from Thor the Dark World. We got a scene from Thor Ragnarok in Love and Thunder, and with the introduction of Melissa McCarthy as Hela, that was really fun. The Guardians were fun to have at the beginning. It just kind of completed like where we left off after the end of Endgame, because Thor went off with them. So it just makes sense that we spend the first 10-15 minutes of the movie hanging out with them, trying to rescue that group of blue aliens that they were trying to free from like this weird like techno gang or something like that, and Thor accidentally destroys their temple. It's fun. That's the first like 15 minutes of the movie, and that's the part that really made me like laugh my ass off, like super hardcore. Wow, 12 minutes goes really fast. The first post-credit scene, we picked up with Zeus after Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, was supposedly killed by Thor when they had their disagreement, when they were trying to get Zeus to help with Gorr, and Zeus wasn't having it. And in the scuffle, Thor ends up impaling Zeus through the chest with his own lightning bolt. But then we cut back to Zeus being tended to by his harem, and we get our first introduction of Hercules in the MCU. And this really sets up, I believe, is War of the Realms, which was this war between different gods and things like that in the comics. And this is probably what we're going to get in the next Thor movie, or maybe some sort of crossover movie potentially as well, with maybe some other gods that we've seen, like from the Ennead, from Moon Knight, or anything like that. That would be kind of neat. But that was the other post-credit scene. The theater I was in kind of went ballistic when Hercules showed up. I was like, oh shit, there's Hercules. Everybody was like, yeah! I was like, god damn, I didn't think Hercules had it like that, but okay. Cool. It was about time that he was going to show up in the MCU as a whole. You know, we got Namor showing up in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We're starting to get more and more of like the huge godlike characters or the OG like super old characters. You got Fantastic Four showing up eventually and things like that. But yeah, this movie didn't really tie into a lot of other stuff going on. It really was self-contained in its own thing, which is something that I really enjoyed about the movie as a whole, that it can kind of just tell its own story. It didn't have to worry about multiverse stuff or anything else going on Earth. It was just a space adventure. We got a little tease of where the Guardians are at this point in time, especially with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out next year. So it's good to kind of revisit them at the beginning of the movie. I'm glad that we got a chance to kind of close the book on the Thor and Jane relationship, at least for now, but most likely for a while since Jane is dead. It's funny how the MCU right now, at least with Phase 4, has this thing about closing old chapters of relationships. Like we saw that with No Way Home, with Peter and MJ, Doctor Strange, with him and Christine Palmer, and now with Thor and Jane Foster kind of wrapping up their relationships. If you want to count Wanda and Vision, you can count that as well. Overall, the movie had a lot of fun stuff in it, a lot of great Easter eggs, a lot of just absurdity, which I really actually did enjoy. The jokes were funny. I liked how Korg got married to a guy named Dwayne, another Rock, so they kind of played with Dwayne the Rock Johnson. You get it, it's a joke. It's nice to see that, you know, Korg is canonically, I guess he's just, is he bisexual? Is he pan? Is he straight up gay? I don't know. We need more than just little tidbits here and there. Let's get a full-blown character like Phastos again. Come on, man. It's been way too long. You need to put some more LGBTQ representation in your movies. Come on. Stop messing around. But yeah, 12 minutes. 12 minutes goes by quick. So, but those are just some of the spoilers from the movie. I didn't even talk about how Mjolnir was still broken and could actually, like, you can kind of launch the pieces out as projectiles. That was pretty dope. I love the monochromatic battle on the dead world in the Shadow Realm. That I like how they played with that their color was still kind of still there, like in their eyes a little bit, or their energies that they were emitting were still in color. I thought Heimdall's kid was really fun. He has similar, you know, abilities to his father's. You know, could he appear on a Young Avengers roster? I mean, there's so many young heroes now in the MCU. That roster is going to be huge. I'm very curious where they're going to take him, because they kind of set him up to be a future contender, and that would make sense for a Younger Avengers roster. So if I know I missed some things in the movie, I missed some like little Easter eggs and stuff like that, let me know those in the comments down below. But that's going to do it for my spoiler review, because I can't remember everything, but I did want to just kind of give those little tidbits and Easter eggs that I didn't mention, or I couldn't mention during the regular review. So hopefully you did enjoy that. Thank you for checking out this video and all of my videos. I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me when you guys take a look at it, when you comment, when you subscribe. Those are huge things for me. This is a hobby. It brings me joy. I hope I can bring you some joy as well. I've got a ton of videos on the channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I've got my Miss Marvel episode 6 finale video that should be coming up by hopefully Friday, depending on my schedule. You know, you can reach out to me at different social media platforms that are listed at the end of this video. Subscribe to the channel if you would please. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sorry, I always butcher the ending for some reason, but until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.